So this final tutorial for SEWBReCORD is just sort of some of the optional extra bits that you may like to engage with if you're a keen user. So I'm going to show you how you can record in a different way called recording a patch. So we go to Home and Record, and then Record a Patch. And here we can see it looks a lot like the casual record data entry system. So I'll just fill in the details. But this is specifically designed for larger plants mostly that form stands. So say, for example, you've seen Japanese knotweed, and it covers a very large area, more than you could say was a single grid reference. You can use this to draw the area that contained the knotweed and send us the polygon, the area that you've seen it in, rather than trying to apply a single grid reference to it. So it's mostly used for invasive plants, so Japanese knotweed and Himalayan balsam. But if there are other circumstances, you can use it for other species. So I'll just put in as Japanese knotweed here. Again, you can fill in the usual optional extras and add photographs. But when it comes to the location here, you can see that you have an extra option to draw a polygon, which is this third button along here. Select this tool to draw a polygon, clicking on the map to draw the shape and double clicking to finish. So if we find the area roughly where we want to draw our polygon, let's say we've got some here in Talbot Green. So it might be that you've seen it growing all the way along this river here, and you want to draw a big area. So we would just click on that, and then each time you click, it drops a point on the map. So we could say it was all in this field here. It was along this river here. And to get back, you just keep clicking. And then when you're happy with the area you've grown, you double click, and it's created that polygon for us here. So we can see that it has created a grid reference for us. But in addition to that, at our end, we will also see this polygon. So we'll be able to add that to a data layer showing the outlying area of this species. So this is a useful tool if you are surveying for invasive non-native species mostly, but anything else that you see large patches of, you might want to use this feature for. The other thing I'm going to show you is how to do a transect. So say you've been for a walk and you've seen lots of things along the walk, but you're not sure exactly where on the walk you saw the species. You don't want to apply a single grid reference to them. You can fill in the details as normal. So let's see, say we'd seen a marbled white. And all the usual options are there, but the other extra thing that we can see here is that we have this Polyline option. So select this tool to draw a line, clicking on the map to draw the shape, and double clicking to finish. So again, if we zoom in somewhere, and say I'd taken a walk around this housing estate and I'd seen a marbled white, not very likely, but there you go. And I'd walked all these streets here, I'd walk back on myself, out here, and then I'd walk along here. I can double click then, and it's saved the line for me. So it's applied a grid reference, which is the central point of that line. But again, we will have that line to refer back to at our end. So this can be particularly useful if you are walking doing a bee walk, for example, or a butterfly transect, where you walk a set route. you can draw the line of the route and then just enter all the details in at once. And the other thing you can do with this is to enter a list of records. So this is how you'd enter a single record, but if we look at Transect's list of records, so similarly to enter a list that we looked at in the previous video, you can enter more than one species. Say we wanted to enter 2 butterflies. And again, we can find our location on the map and draw a line using this polyline feature. So just draw a line. And again, it's created a good reference for us, but we will have that whole line at our end. So that's the sort of more specialized end of using the recording tools. The other thing you might like to look at is the league table. So we can see here, this is sort of a table of all the people and how many records they've done. So you can see how you're doing in the grand scheme of things. It's listed by number of species, but you can change it to be number of records or number of taxon groups instead. It does take a long time to load, so oh, there we go, not too bad. It automatically does ascending, but then if you click again, it will do descending instead. And again, we can do that with taxon groups. And I think we'll conclude that, oh no, actually Peter Sturgis is top for most things, but Christian Owen is winning on the number of taxon groups. So this can be interesting to see how other people are recording and how you're doing in comparison to them. The other way you can interact with everybody else's data is to explore all records. And this we can see shows all the data that's been entered into the system. So we're at nearly 375,000 records on SEWBReCORD, which is fantastic. And you can just sort of have a bit of a casual look through what everybody else is finding. You can apply filters or search for a particular species if you want to. So you could search for a particular species or group or a particular area. Various different things you can filter by. So it can be interesting to see what other people are looking at, but just to say that this is only the data. This isn't all of SEWBREC's data. We've got a lot of other data in different systems. And so if you want to really understand a species distribution or something like that, we would say to use a DERIN, which is our reporting database, and that has all of our data, not just the data that's entered particularly on this website. So that's the final of our guides to using SEWBReCORD. There are a couple of extra optional things you can explore yourselves as well. But I think I've covered all of the main functions of the site. If you ever have any technical problems with the site, you can get in contact with SEWBREC on info@sewbrec.org.uk, and we're always happy to help with any technical queries. So thank you for watching and happy recording.